We've got the ACC, and we've got the Big 12. Should be a good one. It's the NC State Wolfpack taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers. Hello, everyone. So glad you could join us for your Saturday afternoon with my partner, Ben Lieber. I am Eric Collins, and, well, this is an important game early on in the year for West Virginia. They're coming off a difficult loss last week against Missouri, and now they're getting ready for Big 12 play that starts next week. They need a win, and they need to figure out how to get that offense in gear.
Yeah, they really do. We ought to understand that there's going to be a learning curve to a new staff, a new head coach, but this is the worst running game in the country, and really, it all starts with the offensive line. The offensive line has some inexperience. There's some new guys shuffling in and out between the guard, center, and guard, but they're missing blocks. They're not being aggressive. Even the guys on the outside with the tight ends are being challenged to block better. Running backs are being challenged to get downhill better. Overall, they need to play faster and more aggressive.
Well, for the NC State Wolfpack, some people thought this would be a rebuilding year. They lost their quarterback, Ryan Finley, from a year ago to the NFL, but maybe not so much. They're off to a sterling 2-0 start, and offensively, they're really doing it in all facets. Let's do it. This is going to be fun. Power 5 football from Morgantown, West Virginia. The excitement is mounting in the Mountain State. We've got the Wolfpack. We've got the Mountaineers. Kickoff when we come back. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. Mountaineer Field here in Morgantown, West Virginia. First time during the regular season that NC State and West Virginia have played football in 40 years. Here's Dave Doran, now in year number 7. You see the shirt sleeves with Coach Doran. Neil Brown going with the long sleeves, but it is mid-80s, comfortable football weather. These two schools do have some history in terms of a bowl game against each other. Last time that they met was in 2010. That game was the Champs Sports Bowl down in Orlando that was won by Russell Wilson and the NC State Wolfpack. First meeting between these two schools was actually way back in 1914. Ben Lieber, they were supposed to play last year, but it got canceled because of Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, and that was going to be a great matchup with Will Greer and Finley at quarterback. It was going to be a terrific matchup, but yes, Mother Nature said, no, sir, you have to stop. And so they postponed the game, and even today, we've got a slight chance of rain right around from kickoff now until about 3 p.m., but you and I keep checking that thing, and right now it's holding off.
West Virginia won the coin toss. They decided to defer to the second half. So West Virginia kicks off. And a returnable kick from the 1. Keon Lassane has the football, spins out of a tackle, and takes it out to the 20-yard line. North Carolina State, fantastic early on. You got to question the competition, possibly. They beat East Carolina 34-6. They beat Western Carolina 41-0. But that means that first-year quarterback Matthew McKay, a perfect 2-0.
Yeah, he's looked really good. You know, we talked about the balance with the offense and the open, about their being able to run the football. They don't have to ask him to do too much. Do improvements need to be made? For sure. You know, his deep ball's a little bit inaccurate, but they like what he's doing right now, controlling the offense, picking up first downs. Very poised player for only his 3rd start.
And a bit of an attaboy for Zonovan Bam Knight. He's going to start for the first time. A flag comes down before the play is even snapped. We had a flag down. This is a null play.
Snap. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's going to take away a negative play for this West Virginia defense, something that they need to keep doing. It doesn't count because of the penalty, but watching those guys fly around up front, that's exactly what they want to see on defense.
Definition of an inauspicious start for NC State. Here is Knight with the carry. 119 yards a week ago against Western Carolina. Nothing doing there. Let's take a look at the starters for NC State on offense.
On offense, I talk about how physical they are up front. Josh Fed Jackson, they run a lot to his side on the right side of that offensive line. And then Emeka Emezi on the outside. Watch for him. He's got a great relationship with Matthew McKay.
Passing situation on second and long, and it's read beautifully. The catch and the stop immediately keep Washington playing that corner. Well, Emeka Emezi, the catch, but a nominal gain.
We've already seen a defensive shift in lineup inside for West Virginia. Jordan Jefferson, watch out for him. They love what he's doing. He's just a true freshman. And then back end, Josh Norwood is probably and most likely their best tackler, as he was their leading tackler last year.
3rd down and 10. Four-man rush, trying to get it to Carter, incomplete. And a flag is down. 2 flags in the backfield.
Roughing the passer, number 91, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Reuben Jones, 5th-year senior, should have known better. That's going to keep NC State's offense on the field.
This defense is flying around hot, and Reuben Jones gets in as a pass rushing specialist. And he just does a quick swim on the inside. Then he saw the ball delivered, an extra step taken, and a little shot on the quarterback. Obviously, you don't want to have that penalty. That is a dumb penalty to have in this situation. But this defense, for once, this season looks juiced up. They look ready to go, and they're flying around going downhill.
So fresh out of downs, Matthew McKay, redshirt sophomore quarterback from Raleigh, went to Wakefield High School. Design rollout right side, throws a bullet, caught again by Emezi, but he's tackled quickly, a gain of 5.
You see the tackle there by Hakeem Bailey. That's something to watch, too, for West Virginia defensively. They had 22 missed tackles last week against Kelly Bryant in Missouri. That's something they've worked on continuously all week long. Had some physical practices. Watch for the tackling in this game.
Here's Knight, a big hole. The true freshman runner from Bailey, North Carolina, crosses the 50 down to the 41. 16-yard gain. They love this kid.
You know, with the 3-man front, you have to ask these linebackers to diagnose and hit it downhill quickly. There's a misdiagnosis on the back end, and Josh Chandler, the linebacker, runs to the wrong gap. That's the reason for the big hole.
Quarterback keeps it. McKay gets sandwiched by 3 Mountaineers. But a decent gain on first down.
And keep in mind, all this momentum that the Wolfpack has right now is because of a 3rd down penalty on a roughing the passer. Otherwise, this West Virginia defense is coming out strong and physical and making some plays.
Quick hitter over the middle, looking for Thayer Thomas, and it's incomplete. Thomas has been a nice security blanket for McKay early on in the year. They're actually roommates. Live off campus in Raleigh. So it's now 3rd down and 6. Trent Penix comes into the game. He's in the backfield, replacing Zonovan Knight.
Looks like man-to-man coverage in the back end for West Virginia.
McKay at the sticks. Pass is complete. Emezi. And it's a first down. James will move inside the 30. Pickup of 8.
A little too much ground given by Josh Norwood. It was a man-to-man situation. We'll take a look at the protection. Just a 4-man rush. Had a linebacker spying the running back. He had plenty of time to deliver that football, and it was just a nice route. A really crisp comeback route by Emezi is the reason he got that separation.
2 tight ends in the game for North Carolina State. McKay looking for the home run ball. Nobody home.
And that was something that the coaches told us about in the meetings. They want to get these tight ends involved a little bit more in the pass game, as you got Angeline going across the field, trying to hit that flat area, trying to find some sort of void in this defense and use their big men to find those mismatches.
2nd down. McKay setting up a middle screen. Pass is too high. Looking for Knight. That was a dangerous pass.
Dangerous pass, but they had the numbers. There's 3 white jerseys out there to block. an errant throw over the top, and only Josh Norwood, number 4, was in the vicinity to make a play. Look at all those jerseys. You get that one block, very possible that thing gets taken to the house.
Wolfpack on the outskirts of field goal range right now. 3rd down at 10. 4 receivers in the game. Play action didn't fool anyone. Dante Stills. This Mountaineer defense stepping up.
Watch Dante Stills on the bottom of your screen. Just a missed assignment on the offensive line. It was a fan protection. They turned out, but he didn't even get his hands on him. But you need to make those plays if you're Dante Stills. Didn't have a great game last week against Missouri. Got challenged, and he's been flying around today.
Chris Dunn has been fantastic. And this one, not enough leg from 51. That's his first miss of the year. He had made 19 in a row dating back to last year. So a whole bunch of nothing for Dave Doran's Wolfpack. Mountaineers have the ball when we come back.
Boy, he definitely got some good experience, not only just watching how quarterbacking can be played, but also leadership styles. We talked to him about that as well.
West Virginia starts on the ground. Alex Sinkfield gets the first carry. Versatile sophomore. That's something that's going to be so important for West Virginia. Can they run the football? Can they help out Austin Kendall? That's a backward pass. Will it be a double pass? Nobody home. Sean Ryan's going to run it. He's got a blocker in front of him. It's his quarterback. Look at Ryan go. Slips across the 40 to the 39. 25 yards. Made something out of nothing.
Made something out of nothing. This is a single-man route. They had 4 wide receivers up top. They tried the double pass. It wasn't there, and there was just no real adjustment or pursuit by NC State. You see everybody blocking up front. A single man in coverage, and what's he do? Just asks his quarterback to get a lead block, picks up a big chunk yardage play.
Little speed sweep. This is Winston Wright. Winston Wright, a true freshman from Pooler, Georgia. This is astounding. He didn't even make the trip last week, Ben Lieber, out to Columbia, Missouri. Was that far down in the depth chart, but he's getting first quarter burn today.
Well, that's what happens when you have a new staff. Fresh eyes, gives everybody a fresh look, and they said he's impressive all through spring and camp.
2nd down and 3. Sinkfield still the lone runner behind Kendall. Offense has been the issue with the Mountaineers. Just 7 points a week ago against Missouri. 2nd down throw. A bullet caught. First down, T.J. Simmons. 13-yard catch and run.
It was a nice blitz pickup by the offensive line and the running back. These balls are going to come out quick today. That's been part of the game plan for West Virginia. Austin Kendall got hit a ton. 1/3 of his dropbacks last week, he was being hit on against Missouri. They said, we can't handle that for a quarterback. He needs to get more in rhythm. Expect more of these quicker throws. But so far, so good with this offensive line.
Kennedy McCoy comes into the game. Blitz was on. Picked up beautifully. Chance to make something happen. Sean James still on his feet. Touchdown, West Virginia. How about that offense for West Virginia?
When I talk about this offensive line, watch 68 right there. He's starting for the first time. A freshman, Bryson Mays, gets the lead block out on the edge. And then from there, it was all just effort from Sam James. Missed tackles, but look at that determination and effort to get this ball in the end zone and turn this crowd around, keeping the energy up in this stadium.
Sudden Sam James makes it a 6-0 lead for the Mountaineers. Evan Staley comes on for the extra point. Things are glorious once again here in Morgantown for the locals. Last week's loss in the rearview mirror. Sam James gives West Virginia a 7-0 lead on NC State. new head coach Neil Brown and the West Virginia Mountaineers, but things are rapidly improving.
Like that response to that.
7-0 lead
You
for the Mountaineers.
So hard to get that in.
That's their first touchdown in the first half of their last 3 games, dating back to their bowl game a year ago.
Yeah, the defense is playing lights out, and they're just hoping to continue that momentum, but it's all been energy and momentum right now for West Virginia, and they take it on the first drive offensively and punch in for a touchdown.
Not only the first touchdown of the first half this season for West Virginia, it's the first touchdown of any variety allowed by North Carolina State's defense.
And they've been playing fast, and I think that you look at their non-conference games that they just played, and there are some people like, well, you know, he didn't really play anybody, and they even kind of admitted this is going to be a great test for them from a on-paper talent standpoint. And so far, they knew coming into this stadium that it was going to be tough. There's going to be distractions with the crowd. The crowd is loud. They're passionate fans here, and they're just going to have to mitigate the energy. Right now, they just have to make sure that they don't get too far in a lull. They'll claw their way back.
Zonovan Knight wrestled to the ground in the backfield. Again, it is one of the Stills brothers, this time Darius. We saw Dante with a sack. First time NC State had the ball, now a tackle for loss by his older brother Darius.
And they right now are just hitting the edges of these offensive linemen, getting skinny and getting through the line of scrimmage and making plays.
Receivers in the game on 2nd and 13. McKay wants a bunch looking for Thomas, who got drilled. That'll be a flag, no doubt about it. Josh Norwood should have known better. There are 3 flags right where that hit was made.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy call. We could even hear that helmet-to-helmet contact all the way up here. It's an overthrow. He's deep center field. This is his ball to make a play on, but you have to lower your eyes and lower your target. And look how late that is.
Ball, personal foul with targeting. Number 4 on the defense. That play is under further review.
This is hugely important for Neil Brown and West Virginia because that secondary for West Virginia is really thin. They go literally 1 deep. All the backups at corner and safety are true freshmen.
Yeah, they've talked about the depth issues across the board, not just on defense in the secondary, but all on offense, offensive line, even at receiver. And I think that this will be a pretty easy discussion and review. I think you have all the indicators that you're looking for as far as targeting goes. You see the dip of the head, even crown of the helmet, right in the face mask. There's clear intent there as well. So one of these young freshmen are going to have to step up in the back end and replace Josh Norwood.
Jeff Flanagan consulting. Yeah, the true backup for Josh Norwood is Kerry Martin, 18-year-old true freshman from Charleston, West Virginia. His afternoon may change dramatically.
After review, the ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 4 is disqualified.
Stiff penalty. But it's a rule. It has been for years now. Josh Norwood is done for the day.
Well, and we talked to Vic Coney, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, and he said, we want our guys on defense. You see the targeting, you see it clear, all the indicators confirm that that's targeting. Josh Norwood is going to be out of the game. But he talked about, we want guys to make full-speed mistakes on defense. We don't care about making mistakes. But there is a fine line between playing fast and not playing smart.
Kerry Martin wears number 15. He comes into the game replacing Norwood at one of the safety spots.
Number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Josh Fed Jackson, the false start.
That could be one of those things where you got your most dominant run blocker, most likely a run call was called, and he has weight just on his on the front of his toes a little bit too much.
Play fake tonight. Quick hitter out to Devin Carter. Redshirt freshman Carter gets back to loss of the penalty and then some. It's a pickup of 10.
So I imagine right now that they're going to pick their spots to go after the young backup that has to come in for Josh Norwood. Right now, just kind of play your scheme and then find a shot in time to go over the top.
Knight breaks that first wall, spins out of a tackle, still on his feet. Knight down to the 32. Hakeem Bailey with the tackle, but 26 more yards for Knight.
Well, this is just his style of game. He gets vertical, he gets downhill, he's decisive, and then watch all of the blocks or the tackles that he breaks. One there, one there, one there, and finally he gets tripped up.
Knight catching a blow. He's replaced by Ricky Person. Person, another pup in the backfield. He is a sophomore. We expect to see Jordan Houston, a true freshman. So a lot of youth running the football for NC State. Person down to the 30.
And Person's a guy that is really kind of picking up to speed as well. He missed the last 4 games of last year. He's kind of been hampered by some injuries throughout his career, so he really had to get healthy in the offseason, knowing that there's a lot of competition in the backfield for snaps, and he's done a terrific job of getting his body ready, getting his mind right, and he's one of the guys I need to lean on in the backfield for the Wolfpack.
Angeline, Ottenreeth, the 2 tight ends in the game. This is Angeline. And he's got the first down. Nice safety valve for McKay.
Quick hitting plays. They talk about McKay just making smarter, more crisp decisions. They said last week he just sometimes is not seeing the easy throws. They need to get him more comfortable with just making the easy throws and moving the chains like that.
Keon Lassane comes into the game. He's in the slot. They put him in motion. Person inside the 15 to the 12. Just trucked one of the safeties. And a pickup of 9. Sean Mahone on the tackle, but he paid the price.
Well, I like how the Wolfpack have sort of settled down now. Watch all the hats on a hat. There's a white jersey and a white helmet on every guy, all the way up to the 3rd level before there's any contact. It's a terrific job of executing all the blocks on the offensive line and the receivers.
Play action. First option not there. McKay tries to use his feet. Discretion the better part of valor. He goes down and he's hit up above the shoulders. Flags are down. This time it was Keith Washington.
Well, now this is where I, as a defensive player, I feel for a guy like Keith Washington, because that was a really late slide by McKay.
An awkward slide too.
And an awkward slide. You see how Keith was breaking down, and he was already mentally.
Dead ball, personal foul, with targeting.
Oh my.
28 on the defense. Penalty 15 yards. And play is under further review.
All right, Ben Lever, rules are rules. We understand what targeting is. As a defender, what could Keith Washington have done to avoid that?
Basically just stop and wait for the quarterback to make a move. You know, with my eyes watching it, it looked like Keith Washington was breaking down, putting himself in a good body position to make a tackle. He didn't know that the quarterback was going to lay it down like that. And, you know, that's a hard thing to do for defensive players. And we're going to take a look at this targeting here on Keith Washington when we come back.
Virginia leading NC State 7-0, but they're in trouble. We just had a targeting call waved off of Keith Washington. We'll revisit that in a moment. But it is first down and goal from just outside the 5 for North Carolina State. Ricky Person in the backfield next to McKay. And Person is wrapped up and brought down immediately. While we have a moment to check in with our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, to explain targeting, not targeting. What just happened, Mike?
Well, to me, I do think it's targeting because he lowers his head and makes helmet-to-helmet contact, and the helmet goes from the top of the face mask, basically, and so I think it should have stayed as targeting. Most important here is the referee announced in his announcement of the penalty that it was unnecessary roughness with targeting. So they could take targeting off, but still enforce the unnecessary roughness, which they did.
Thank you, you, Mike, for that interpretation. Yeah, maybe a little bit of compassion. Already one defensive back disqualified from the game. That was Josh Norwood. Happened in this drive as well. But Keith Washington will be able to stay into the game, and that is close to mandatory considering how thin the defensive backfield is for the Mountaineers.
It would have gotten really sticky for their defense if they have to rely on another true freshman to come in this game.
Third down and goal. McKay fires a bullet, caught, touchdown, Thayer Thomas. Wolfpack wanted to improve on third down. They just did. They're an extra point away from tying things up.
Well, you know, this was an issue last week against Missouri for this West Virginia defense. Don't back up into the end zone. When you've got coverage on a guy, whether it's man-to-man or you're playing a zone, don't put your heels 2 or 3 yards in the end zone, because all they're going to do is stop, turn around, come back to the football, and you're in. So those are the type of little things that are driving Vic Koenig little nuts on defense right now, just making common sense mistakes.
Christopher Dunn is true. No surprise there. He's made 61 straight extra points. We're knotted at 7 in Morgantown. Engineering a touchdown drive for NC State. And we're tied at 7. Wolfpack Mountaineers. 4:49 remaining in our first quarter. A couple of penalties helping the cause on that drive. Eventually culminating in the first touchdown of the year for Thayer Thomas.
Well, I talked about just giving up too much ground again defensively. There's no reason to back up into the end zone right there, and I get that it's a freshman. We talked about a freshman backing up Josh Norwood, who got ejected for targeting, and eventually the Wolfpack are going to come back and find that guy, and they did. Get down tight red zone, and they go after the freshman, gives up a touchdown.
Touchback. Time now for Sam Farber and a Dave & Buster's game break. Sam, thank you so much. Yeah, Ohio State has been very fortunate to have fantastic quarterback play in recent years. May need it today. Indiana historically scores a lot of points against Ohio State. End around. This is Kennedy McCoy. And McCoy looking for the edge that never came. Gain of only 2. And the offense coming in a hurry now. Austin Kendall. A quick inside handoff. Another wide receiver around. This is Sam James. And James has got a chance. Sam James ahead of the pack. Brought down at the 24. Tayshawn Smith saved a touchdown. James just took off down that sideline.
Watch 53 McKivitz right here take out 2 guys with 1 block.
Kendall now, running out of time, has to just throw it away. This offense has gone on warp speed here on this drive. How quickly they're getting plays off.
Oh, yeah. They come back from a break, and they've got a few plays right in their back pocket. They know exactly, all right, we're going to run this little perimeter play. We're going to come right back and run another one. We're going to come right back and run another one. The defense couldn't even get lined up, and West Virginia takes advantage. And then they come out with a 2-man route passing play. They don't even give their quarterback a chance to make a play on that particular play.
McCoy finds the edge, looking for the end zone. Touchdown, West Virginia! Kennedy McCoy! Where has this offense been for West Virginia?
Well, they're playing inspired football right now. A bunch of guys are new on the inside of this offensive line. And because of that, they are using one of their best guys in Colton McKivitz, the left tackle. They're running right behind him, and he's done a fantastic job of just getting some blocks, logging the outside shoulder of his defender. And it's just nothing but green grass and speed and athleticism down the field.
I don't think we've seen an inside run yet from West Virginia. It's all been on the edges. Staley. You betcha. And West Virginia was tied for all of about 50 seconds. Big play football for Austin Kendall and the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And it was all running the football. Sam James on the little end around gets some great blocks down the field, and you see him just hustling, getting down there to the sideline. And then they come back with another perimeter run again. And McKivitz, the left tackle, had the key block to turn his defender to the inside. Very easy for any ball carrier to see that green grass and hit the Jets.
Neil Brown, known as one of the great young offensive minds, and he knows that his team is having all sorts of problems on the interior of the offensive line. New starters at right guard, left guard, and center, so he's using nothing but the perimeter, and it's working so far.
So far right now, he's asking his two tackles to be their best blockers, and he's asking his wide receivers to be the best blockers in the run game, and so far it's working. But let's not forget that what got him here wasn't necessarily the play call, but the tempo. The tempo, they picked it up, they caught North Carolina State's defense on their heels, and they took advantage.
Lesane starts from the 1. And he is belted. Homa down at the 18. So first down and 10 for the North Carolina State Wolfpack. A touchdown last time they had the football.
So West Virginia's defense, just like when I talk about tempo for West Virginia on offense, they're playing good football right now. They just need to stop the penalties. Each one of these scoring drives for North Carolina State have been just because of extended plays and extended drives based off of penalties.
And NC State's going to have to call a timeout. That was unusual. They were trying to run an offensive lineman onto the field at the last moment. I didn't catch a number, but it looked like they were trying to bring in a new left tackle, and he couldn't get on the field in time, and so they have to call a timeout. Primetime baseball coming your way Thursday night. For most of the country, it's the Cardinals taking on the Cubs as they battle for the NL Central. For others, it's the Detroit Tigers facing off against Francisco Lindor and the Cleveland Indians. It all starts 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox or the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. A lot of fun in Major League Baseball for the final 2 weeks of the season. A lot still up in the air. Dave Dorn has the 11 he wants on the field right now. Zonovan Knight is the runner in the backfield, but it is a quick out and incomplete to Amezi.
Amezi may have had something there too. Defensively, they're playing way off, about 5 to 8 yards when that ball was thrown. Makes a clean catch, very possible. All you gotta do is make one guy miss, and who knows what happens after that.
Another pass, this one is incomplete. Looking for a little dump off. Devin Carter couldn't hang on. Would have been a nominal game.
Phenomenal game, but I like what McKay was doing there. He checked to the left first. That's his primary read. He saw Mezzi was covered, and real quickly snaps right back, looks at his tight end. Watch him look to the left. Right there. I don't have it. I'm going to come right back to my outlet guy, which is my tight end. Just a little bit too fast, a little too hurried. Inaccurate, throws it outside.
NC State, third down has been their bugaboo through the first 2 games of the year. Amezi, the man in motion. McKay with a clean pocket. And threw it right into coverage. That was almost picked off. Dangerous pass. Tyke Smith got a hand on it. One of those true freshman backups at safety for West Virginia.
So defensively right now, they're challenging North Carolina State to go over the top. They're not dropping that far back in coverage. Tyke Smith knew exactly where the chains were, did not give up too much ground, just stood there flat-footed and waited for the quarterback to hitch his arm and make a break on the football. So right now, if you want to take advantage of this defense, they have to throw some shots over the top to keep them honest.
Alex Sinfield has to retreat all the way back to the 21. And he's tackled after a 5 8-yard gain, and a flag comes in late. 61-yard punt, 5-yard return, and a pending flag.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 15 of the kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Calvin Hart called for the penalty.
There it is right there. He's clearly down. Calvin just feels like I want to get involved in this play, and a little too aggressive and way too late.
First couple of weeks of the year, he was C.J. Hart until Mom got involved. Let's use Calvin, son. So now we're calling him Calvin Hart. Pass is incomplete, looking for Sam James, who's been a big play waiting to happen this game. Look at the rushing. Already 51 yards in the first quarter for West Virginia. A radical improvement from what they had first couple games of the year.
Yeah, a radical improvement. And like you mentioned earlier, they're not going down inside and attacking this defense on the interior. They're going out on the perimeter, asking their tackles and their wide receivers to block, and they're doing a terrific job so far.
Set up the middle screen too high. Sam James had it slide off the fingertips.
Well, Austin Kendall, that's 2 plays in a row that he's overthrown the football, and that's, as a defense, you love to see that. Obviously, offensively, you don't like to see that because it's tips and overthrows. That's where a lot of interceptions happen. If you're going to miss, I'd rather have you miss going into the ground than over the top.
Michael Laughlin comes in at one of the tight end spots. They put him in the slot, now in motion. He's in the block. Kendall, pocket collapses, and he goes down. Isaiah Moore and company with the sack, and the punt team will have to come on.
Well, they dial up a man pressure. They got man coverage in the back end, and watch all these white jerseys. They're just moving, a slant, a little stunt. They bring extra linebackers, just too much to handle for this offensive line. Again, they've got some new faces on this West Virginia offensive line. They're asking those guys on third down now to communicate, move their feet, protect, and sustain blocks. They couldn't do it on that play.
Josh Groden to punt it away. Lefty kick, end over end, fair catch called for and made at the 20. Thayer Thomas with the squeeze. And NC State back on offense, and this has surprisingly, maybe to some, become quarterback U in Raleigh, North Carolina. Started with Phillip Rivers, your old teammate with the San Diego Chargers. Russell Wilson didn't finish his career in Raleigh, went to Madison, Wisconsin, won some games there. Mike Glennon. And then recent vintage. Of course, last year, Ryan Finley, now in Cincinnati. And now that gives way to Matthew McKay. So not too much expectations for Matthew McKay.
No pressure, no pressure. You know, we've just got some really good quarterbacks that have gone through a program that are playing in the NFL, and so a couple of them are 2 superstars. But, you know, just go play your game.
Ricky Person with the run. What was it like playing with a young Phillip Rivers in San Diego?
He's the best. I think everybody would enjoy playing with him. He's got a...
Moving on the field, forward progress was stopped. Second down.
He's got a playground mentality, both the way he plays and just sort of the personality that he is. You know, he just likes to have fun. He's always got a smile on his face, talking trash. He's having fun in the locker room. He's great.
Matthew McKay, we had a chance to talk to him yesterday. He says he's been in touch with a whole bunch of his predecessors, just talking ball and talking life. Cool resources to have. Person, another run. Gets to the edge, has the first down, and scampers out of bounds. Ricky Person getting some burn on this possession, gain of 9.
Timeout. Player injury.
One of the tight ends for NC State, Dylan Autenreith, is down at the 21-yard line.
We've seen a number of these runs for North Carolina State. They've just done such a nice job of getting a body and a body, and not just that, but sustaining the blocks, holding the blocks all the way through the progression of the play. And so, conversely, if you're looking at this West Virginia defense, they've had moments and opportunities where they've penetrated. They've had some negative yardage plays, but on some of these bigger runs, they have to get off the blocks. Hit, make the contact, be aggressive, but then use your eyes and use your hands to get off these blocks. And so far on some of these bigger runs, it's been all North Carolina State's blockers as opposed to the defenders getting off blocks.
Henry's now on his feet and slowly making it over to the NC State sideline. For Dave Doran and NC State with a new quarterback in Matthew McKay, one thing that they have to be happy with is the protection of the football. One of the few teams in all of FBS football to not commit a turnover so far this year.
Well, yeah, when you run the football as well as they have, and they have a ball control passing game, they really haven't had an opportunity offensively to throw into tight windows and make some risky throws. So they're clearly happy about that, and we have a penalty right here on Dante Stills as he jumps off sides and makes contact with the offensive lineman.
Offside, number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Dante Stills, brothers Darius Stills, both on that front wall for West Virginia, but with the penalty, Dante has to come out. First down to 5. Gotta love that if you're NC State. Person. Another first down. He's to midfield. Nick Troy Fortune with the tackle.
And some of these plays, they're beating this defense just by alignment and formation. They had 3 receivers to the offensive right side, only 1 receiver to the left. And so a lot of yellow defensive jerseys away from where they're running to. Their second-level linebacker has to fill those gaps. It's a 3-man front, so there's going to be some seams.
It's been all person on this drive. 6 more yards for the sophomore. 6'1", 220 pounds. And he knows how to use it. Final minute of our first quarter. It's been entertaining. Alrighty, 3 touchdowns, 2 for West Virginia, 1 for NC State. Person. Another first down. Runs into Shea Campbell, but the chains will move. Depends on what NC State wants to do, but that could be the final play of the first quarter. Clock is marching down to 15.
It looks like they're trying to get up to the line to get one more play, maybe not. Nope, look to the sideline, let this thing run out.
So both sides putting their best foot forward in our first 15 minutes. West Virginia coming off a loss a week ago against Missouri, playing real well. They've got their confidence back, playing with some swagger. Through 15 minutes, 14-7, West Virginia over NC State. Marvelous, Mike Hill, thank you so much. We've got an informed opinion here. Ben Lieber, you saw Iowa State earlier this season. Your thoughts on the Cyhawk?
Well, it's a huge thing for college football, and it's a huge thing for the state. I think when I look at this game, it's going to be all about explosive passing plays. Whoever can be explosive in the passing game. Brock Purdy was very conservative in the game that we called against Northern Iowa. That's something that they're going to have to revamp and look at when they look at this game. They got to get the ball downfield a little bit more.
NC State begins our second quarter with a pass to Jordan Houston. First time the Houstons touched the ball in today's game. Like Zonovan Knight, true freshman running back. Second down and 7. For the most part, this drive has been all courtesy of Ricky Person in the backfield. Now a full house backfield with Houston, the deep man. They put him in motion. Option football. McKay keeps it. And it'll bring up third down and manageable.
Hey, they show that little diamond look. They send the running back in motion. They sort of fake the speed option to the left and come back to the right, trying to get the linebackers and the safeties to bite a little bit, sort of like a play-action feel in the pass game. You see how you kind of look to the left, goes back to the right, but West Virginia's defense wasn't fooled at all.
McKay and NC State 2 for 4 on third down conversions. Line against the 28. Caught Amezi. First down. When in doubt, go to the man you trust. Emeka Amezi, junior from Waxhaw, North Carolina.
Well, once again, you got to do a better job of knowing where the sticks are, not giving up so much ground.
Already 4 catches for Amezi. To the end zone. Amezi's out of bounds. Oh, would have been an absolute star hanger, but Amezi couldn't keep a foot in bounds.
And Amezi got lucky there because right before that ball was delivered, he gave a nice push off to the defender in the corner. It had great coverage.
Substitution. Defense. Player came on during the play. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
NC State catching West Virginia unawares defensively.
Well, all these drives, you had the missed field goal, but they did drive down before the scoring drive. So it was a missed field goal, then an actual touchdown scoring drive. We'll take a look at this pass right here. You see the player running off the field. Got a glimpse of that push-off I was talking about.
Houston pushed out of bounds shy of the marker.
But every one of these drives have been aided by defensive penalties. You know, they're playing decent football for West Virginia defensively, but critical situations, they just keep making mistakes.
McKay, quarterback keeper. Down to the 11. Another first down for the Wolfpack.
And that's the element to his game that they knew that he possessed. They started the season early on trying to make him more of a pocket passer, more of a balanced quarterback. But in times of need to move the chains, especially in that critical down and distance, it's okay to use his legs.
5-receiver formation. McKay gets it to Amezi. Down to the 1. Knocking on the door of the Wolfpack.
Just working on the nickel. Giovanni Stewart, they call that position the spear. It's nothing more than just a nickel back. Giovanni Stewart drawing the tough coverage against Amezi, who's been the favorite target right now for McKay.
NC State will have 4 cracks from the 1. Chance to tie it up. Houston, touchdown. Should have been that easy. Jordan Houston, second touchdown of the year. We're an extra point away from a tie ball game.
Well, just some demolishing blocks on the front side of that play. Take a look on the bottom of your screen. Watch, just boom. He just grabbed him. That's Ike Awanu, the freshman left tackle from Charlotte. Just grabs him and manhandles him and throws him to the ground and made a soft corner for the running back.
Pride of Providence Day. Up and through. Death taxes Christopher Dunn on extra points. 62 in a row. 12 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. NC State has tied this ball game at 14. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. 12-11 remaining in our first half. It's a 14-14 tie. NC State and West Virginia. First regular season meeting between these two schools in 40 years. What took you so long? This is a good one. Couple Power 5 schools, ACC and Big 12. Vicious run out. Sam James. James to the 27. Let's send it back out to Sam Barber for a Dave & Buster's game break.
Over on Fox, number 6 Ohio State has won 23 straight over Indiana. No signs of that streak going away. Justin Fields over the top to Chris Olave. 37-yard touchdown pass. Buckeyes just blocked a punt out the back of the end zone to add a safety. 16-3 Ohio State in the second quarter.
Sam, thanks a bunch. Austin Kendall and the Mountaineer offense back on the field. Inside run, Kennedy McCoy. And for West Virginia, that's considered to be a really good run. Remember, this team was really bad running the football first 2 weeks. They've been much better today. They'll take 6 yards on first down every single time.
Oh, yeah. You know, when you come into this game averaging 1.1 yards a rush. That's right, 1.1 yards a rush. You're going to be real happy with on first down picking up 6 yards.
Kendall. Pass is complete. James has gotten a first down. Well, for the North Carolina State fan with a discerning eye, they may have noticed that James Smith-Williams has not played today. James Smith-Williams is a graduate student, one of the captains. Very important cog defensively in what they're doing. He is not in uniform today.
Yeah, obviously a huge miss for their defensive front. They have some players up front, but when you get a guy like that, that's one of your team captains and one of your leaders up there that's not playing, that's going to hurt your defense no matter what.
Flags are down both sides of the field. Inside run for a yard, but that's in doubt. Procedural, it'll cost 5 yards. That's the 6th penalty against Neil Brown's Mountaineers. Into the game, getting some playing time here in the first half for NC State. True freshman linebacker.
Formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield. The penalty is 5 yards. Still first down.
Drake Thomas, true freshman, 18 years of age. It is rare when you talk to a defensive coordinator and they gush about a player, particularly a true freshman. Dave Huxtable gushed about Drake Thomas when we talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, he absolutely did. He said he's mature, he's smart. You know, he used that term. Being a football player, he just loves the game. He's like, I can't say enough great things about this guy. And for, you know, a freshman out of Wake Forest, North Carolina to come in and impress a guy like Huxtable, who's had a lot of great players come through, that's got to mean a lot.
Ben, as a former linebacker at Kansas State, how difficult is this transition from a high school linebacker to a Power 5 linebacker?
Oh, it's huge. You know, from my experience, I didn't know football. Like, I didn't know, you know, where I was supposed to line up and where guys behind me were counting on me to be and how to fit off defensive linemen. Didn't understand any of that. For him mentally to come in and figure out, it's very impressive.
Winston Wright, that's the second time he's had a little pop screen. He just flipped the true freshman football, and he tries to get the edge. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, we get a wholesale change for the Wolfpack defensively. There's been a little bit of tempo that's been used by the Mountaineers throughout this game, but this particular drive, they are slowing things down a bit. They're getting up to the line. Austin Kendall's getting a call from the sideline, then communicating, so getting a little bit of a breather and a chance to sub in some guys defensively.
It's actually 3rd down and 8. Kendall, dump off. Crossing route, Sean Ryan can't get to the marker. That speedy defense led by Tayshawn Smith, making a tackle well short of the line to gain. And the punt team will have to come on for West Virginia.
Yeah, there was just nothing there offensively. NC State only rushed 3 guys, which means they're dropping 8 in coverage. Everybody's stayed in a short, shallow zone. So the crossing routes, all those things, any sort of pick play was not going to happen. There's just no room to run after the catch.
Josh Groden to punt it away. Thomas lets it go over his head, and it's downed at about the 6-yard line. Nice punt coverage. NC State will have the football when we return to Morgantown. Well, it is a family thing, playing football at West Virginia for the Stills family. Currently, you've got a couple of defensive linemen, Dante and Darius, doing what their father did prior. Gary Stills was a player. Gary Stills, the third-round pick, spent a handful of years in the NFL amongst Kansas City, Baltimore, and St. Louis. And now his son's doing it as well. One-time Pro Bowler was the dad, Gary, 2003, making a Pro Bowl. Pretty cool.
Well, you can just see the athleticism watching his sons run around. Dante, probably their best interior pass rusher, and Darius, probably much more of a balanced type player. He can get after the passer, but he can also play the run really well. Clearly, the apples did not fall far from the tree.
NC State a touchdown last time they had it. This time almost a pick six. That was Keith Washington. He had diagnosed it beautifully. He had about 15 yards of green grass being in the end zone.
I think he just thought that ball was going to come out much more hot with velocity because he had a tremendous break. It was a perfect break. And then it's like he made the decision to knock that ball down before the ball got there. If he had to do it all over again, that was a pick six written all over it.
Matt McKay has never thrown an interception as a college player. Across the middle, incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Angeline. So a critical 3 and out for West Virginia defensively. They pinned NC State inside their 10, and now we're going to get the ball back within 2 minutes.
And what didn't they do on that drive? Commit a penalty defensively. You play clean football, you play downhill and play aggressive, good things are going to happen.
Trenton Gill will punt it away. Starts in the end zone. Spinning kicks, maybe hot to handle. Sinkfield stays away from it, now picks it up. Roll the dice. Taking a chance, why don't you? 8:54 remaining, second quarter. West Virginia football. We're tied at 14, NC State and West Virginia. Before NFL games kick off tomorrow on Fox, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NFL Sunday for free for a chance to win $250,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money. Terry Bradshaw's money probably is no good here in Morgantown. We're about 80 miles away from Pittsburgh. Greatest quarterback in the history of Pittsburgh Steeler football. Terry Bradshaw.
Just giving away money.
There he is. He can throw it. Looking to throw it, Austin Kendall. Dumps it out, Winston Wright. They featured him here in the first half. Remember, he didn't even make the trip to Columbia, Missouri a week ago. Was that far down the depth chart, but a good week in practice. He impressed, and now he's in uniform. True freshman. Pooler, Georgia.
Well, I got to say, what a great tackle by Tanner Ingle. He's the guy in the back end that sort of he's their spark plug. He's the guy that makes that whole defense go. He's going to light everybody up with a big, hard tackle, but that was a nice, clean, open field tackle. Great technique.
Loss of 4, now second and 14 across the middle. This is James. He's the security blanket for Austin Kendall. Another 16 yards for Sam James.
Well, the guy I was talking about was Tanner Ingle, and that's the guy that they go after. On the left side of your screen, he's the safety that's going to bite on that play action that opens up that window. They understand he's an aggressive player, and they're going to take advantage when they can.
They fake it to Letty Brown, who checks into the game. And this is Wright again, second catch of this drive. Letty Brown in the game is a big story for West Virginia. Letty Brown is playing in his first game of the year. Sophomore from Philadelphia is kind of a combo back. He's got speed, he's got power. But with the rushing attack being such a problem the first 2 weeks, they thought that maybe getting Brown back would help the cause.
Well, it's his ability just to get downhill and get vertical and break tackles. And, when their offensive line's giving up so much penetration, they're looking for guys that can break tackles and make something out of nothing.
May have been a broken play. It looked like Kendall was looking for a guy coming through that never came, has to throw it away.
Yeah, it really was was a broken play, and now the crowd wants a pass interference as he tried to dump that off to Letty Brown on a little creative, just impromptu wheel route. The defender got in the way as the ball's being thrown. We'll take a look at sort of the discombobulation. No fake. And you'll see Letty Brown coming out on a wheel route. Tries to dump it over the top. A little bit of contact, but I think it's a good no call by the officials.
3rd down and 7. Randy Fields comes into the game, one of the wide receivers. Redshirt freshman receiver wearing number 86. Kendall dumps it out. McCoy gonna have to make a couple of Wolfpack defenders miss. He can't do it, and it's now 4th down and maybe a decision for NC State.
Well, really, this was just a misread. Watch the block right there. He's got to feel that Sam James's receiver is coming on that angle and really cut back to the outside off of his hip and not back to the inside. So got to use a little bit better vision there on that pass.
West Virginia's going to go for it. 4th down and 4. On the year, they're 1 for 2 in 4th down conversions. Play clock's down to 6, and I think they're going to either call a timeout or take the penalty.
They might just take the penalty to give a little bit more room.
Timeout.
Nope.
West Virginia. First charge timeout.
All right, so a timeout. We'll have a 4th down decision for the Mountaineers when we return. Welcome back, everyone. Morgantown, West Virginia, unofficial home of the pepperoni roll. 6:26 remaining second quarter. Tie ball game. It's 4th down and 4, and the Mountaineers are going to go for it, Ben Lieber.
Well, I like the aggression. I like the call. But, you know, so far, every time they get in these, like, shorter down and distances, if they're going to pass, North Carolina State just kind of packs the middle of the field with the zone coverage, and they haven't been successful for West Virginia. So curious to see what they do here.
It would be a 55-yard field goal. Right to man in motion. Maybe much ado about nothing. Trying to get him to jump off sides, and the Wolfpack won't bite. Sound and fury signifying nothing. So it'll be a punt situation.
Yeah, they clearly thought that 55 yards was out of the range of the field goal kicker. So they try to catch these guys defensively off guard, and they just they were smart, held their water, as we like to call defense, to say water, water, water. Everybody hold your water, don't jump off sides, watch the ball, make them punt.
Roden's already dropped 1 punt inside the 10. Can he do it twice? Yes. Thayer Thomas, the fair catch. And NC State will start at the 8-yard line. Now, 3 great matchups coming your way later today. Starting 4 o'clock Eastern, Fox and FS1. First, you got Arizona State taking on the 18th-ranked Spartans of Michigan State. And then you got the battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Iowa taking on Iowa State. Later tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox, Jalen Hurts keeps on keeping on. The number 5-ranked Oklahoma Sooners are going to take on UCLA. How about Jalen Hurts?
Whew. I tell you what, everybody thought, oh, well, how's he going to fit in that system? I mean, they want more of a pure passer in that system, and he's got to be more of a pocket guy. And, man, he is just lighting everything up on fire right now, doing it with his legs, doing it with his arms. Man, that guy is, he's impressive. He's impressive. He's proven a lot of people wrong.
All knotted at 14. NC State going to pass on first down. McKay, he's got the tight end edge line, and that'll get him out close to midfield. Gutsy play call. Throwing from the end zone, and it's a pickup of 40.
They guessed right. West Virginia brings a middle blitz. They totally vacate the middle part of the field. It's picked up nicely to allow all the time and get Angeline down the middle of the field in that scene. Nicely thrown ball, great execution.
McKay gets it out to Person. That'll be a no-gain play. McKay was dropped on the pass, and Person was dropped right when he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Nice tackle by Giovanni Stewart. Again, a lot of missed tackles last week. We talked to Keith Washington yesterday, the corner, saying, and he said this is the 2 most physical practices that we've had since camp. Just because of the missed tackles, they had to get back to the fundamentals.
McKay keeps it. And McKay powers inside the 40. 14 more yards for the sophomore quarterback.
Boy, he just faked everybody out. I don't think even the guys on the defensive right side even realized that he had the ball until he was basically running past them.
There's the drive chart for NC State. Up, down, up, down, up, down, right? On the teeter-totter. The form holds. This should be a scoring drive for NC State. Houston, the man deep in the backfield. They give it to him. And Houston is tackled. Shea Campbell. Redshirt senior from right here in Morgantown. Playing for the locals.
Well, they dialed up a blitz for Campbell. He timed it up nicely. Didn't get stuck on the block. Just shot his gap. Was the first guy in the backfield. And then is able to bring the ball carrier down.
So a loss of 2. Four-man rush. Amezi. Close to the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot. I think he's got enough for the first down.
Yeah, it looks awfully close. It looks like they're going to give him a first down, pick up the chains. Chains are moving.
Tackle made by Kerry Martin. Important to remind folks, if you didn't see it in the first quarter, Josh Norwood was disqualified from the game. Targeting penalty, one of the starting safeties for West Virginia. Tabari Hines, first time we've said his name. Graduate student from Florence, South Carolina with the grab. 8th catch of the season for Hines.
Quick substitution here from North Carolina State. Allow this defense to sort of gather itself as they're up against the ropes right now.
Maybe a double pass. Has a man open in the end zone. Touchdown! Angeline! Thayer Thomas to carry Angeline. And NC State on top.
They got him. It's just eye discipline. If you have a guy, it doesn't matter what's happening. You have to keep your eyes on your man. They see the pass out to the left side. They think I'm just going to go in pursuit, but you can't forget your own guy in coverage, and Angeline sneaks back in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
And a flag down. The kick is waved off.
Five-yard penalty. We'll continue with the try.
Icky Wanu. So the extra point will be spotted down at the 15, so technically the equivalent of a 25-yard field goal. Christopher Dunn has made 62 consecutive extra points. Did I say 62? I meant 63.
Nailed it.
And NC State with a 7-point lead, 21-14 our score.
Well, it's the double pass out to the outside. Everybody forgets about Angeline, the tight end who's lined up in the core of the formation, and he just patiently sneaks back behind the defense, gets himself an easy touchdown.
Thayer Thomas, a true renaissance man. He is multi-talented, can do everything. You just saw him catch a pass a moment ago. You've seen him throw a pass. Football's not his only sport. The story's been told. This guy is a significant baseball prospect. He was drafted in the 33rd round by the Boston Red Sox coming out of high school. Spent some time last spring on the NC State Wolfpack baseball team. Pretty cool.
I wish I was athletic like that. That'd be nice to be at.
What, you have 10 years in the NFL?
Yeah, but I couldn't play baseball. I couldn't be a two-sport athlete. Certainly not at Division I level.
Alex Sinkfield, Sam James back to return this kickoff. And a touchback. James takes a knee. Coming up on the State Farm halftime show, a busy Saturday afternoon in college football. We've been keeping you abreast of what's going on in Bloomington all afternoon long. The Ohio State Buckeyes hoping to keep it on. Just up the road, that's a battle right there. Penn State and Pitt, over the years, some great ones in that. And then later on today, the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes will play. We will preview that one. Austin Kendall in West Virginia playing from behind. 3:13 remaining in our first half, and a gain of 9. Sean Ryan, the catch and run.
So they've got some time. You see the clock ticking down under 3 minutes, but they have 2 timeouts. No need to be in a huge rush right now.
Again to the outside. TJ Simmons has the first down.
Although playing with tempo is really what caught this defense off guard earlier in the game. So you got to find that nice balance of playing with tempo, but also chewing up the clock.
They fake the run. They get it in space to James. Sam James across the 50. 13 yards.
I really like what they're doing offensively throughout this game. A lot of passes last week against Missouri out on the outsides. They said we have to attack the middle of this football field using that RPO, that play action pass to really open up those windows inside.
James already over 100 yards receiving. 5 catches, 105 next to the name Sam James. Up in the backfield, and look at him scamper. Something out of nothing. A gain of 7 on a busted play.
Not bad little improv there. The mesh point, watch the mesh point between the running back and the quarterback way out in front. It was not going to be a clean handoff, so he decides to pull it down and run himself.
This time the handoff is given to Letty Brown, and Brown has a first down and then some for West Virginia. Clock moving. Under 2 minutes to play. Second quarter.
Now they have to be a little bit more strategic. Looking at this time, looking at the clock. Use your timeouts wisely.
Logan Timmons in the game as a fullback. Brown to the 35.
I think you want to use one of your timeouts at least right here. They're going to hurry up and get to the line.
And a whole bunch of Wolfpack defenders trying to get off the field. They don't get off the field in time. I don't see any flags now. The flags come out. Wolfpack defensively was discombobulated.
Well, I think they thought that there was going to be a substitution. So they tried to get a fresh group.
Fouls on the play. Going to substitution. Defense. Substitution not to get off the field. That penalty is declined. Personal foul roughing the passer. Number 52. Defense. It was accepted 15 yards. First down.
Ibrahim Conte getting playing time with James Smith-Williams not in uniform. Called for roughing the passer. And that's smart.
Well, that's just a brutal call in that situation. West Virginia smartly used tempo. They tried to substitute. We'll see that roughing the passer. Clearly roughing the passer at that point in time.
Sinkfield swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Clock continues to move. West Virginia, they have 2 timeouts. Kendall, slant. Touchdown, George Campbell. That was a thing of beauty.
This is absolutely great quarterbacking. Watch him look off right there. He saw that his first read was covered. There was middle help of the defense. It's going over to that slant right there. You see, can't do it, can't do it. Can't force that ball in there. I know I've got a backside slant. He knew the defender was going over to the help, and he's being one-on-one coverage, and George Campbell with the touchdown.
Third touchdown of the season for George Campbell. And we're tied at 21. We got ourselves a shootout. 34 seconds remaining here in our second quarter. Tomorrow, we've got a huge doubleheader on Fox in the early game. Zeke and the Cowboys taking on the Redskins. Then in America's Game of the Week, Drew Brees and the Saints face Jared Goff and the Rams in a rematch of that contested NFC Championship game from a year ago. It all happens on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check your local listings.
And don't forget about the Vikings-Packers game at noon.
Former Viking. Pumping up that game a little bit, huh?
Yeah, pump for that game. That's going to be a big game. NFC North, big division game, week 2. Lambeau Field.
Going to Lambeau Field still do it for you?
It's all right.
Just all right.
It's all right.
Again, like a former Viking.
I mean, it's great. It's great history, but I got to tell you, it's not a loud stadium.
Oh, no, it's not. All right, you said it. Ben Lieber. Let's see what happens here. 34 seconds remaining in our first half. If NC State wants to, they've got a couple of timeouts. Remember, they've got a young quarterback. Uh-oh. That's not...
Free kick out of bounds. A rule, the ball be placed at 35-yard line. First down.
That'll chap Neil Brown. And if NC State was thinking about just running out the clock, maybe they'll think again with this good field position.
Yeah, really. I mean, that changes everything. I mean, they may have had the mentality of, okay, let's just have a few running plays and, you know, maybe chew up their timeouts, or at least give the idea that, hey, we're just going to run this thing out of the first half. And now, because of the kick out of bounds, they get the ball in pretty good field position. Now they can use those 2 timeouts pretty wisely. They've had success throwing the ball. I would absolutely see if you can put another either 3 points or get this ball in the end zone at the end of this first half.
NC State a touchdown last time they had the football. McKay lives to fight another day. Looking for his buddy, Emeka Emezi. Second down and 10.
Well, I think that's a clear indication of what their philosophy is going to be. They're not going to run this thing out. They're going to try to throw the ball, pick up some chunk yardage, get down there, and if anything, at least attempt a field goal and get some momentum going into halftime.
And it'll be third down. Clock still moving. And that may be the final play of our first half. NC State's made their intentions clear. And West Virginia is going to allow them to just run out this clock. So both sides with 3 touchdowns in the first half. Whole bunch of nothing decided. It is a 21-21 tie here at the break. NC State and West Virginia. Now let's head to the studio and Mike Hill. Getting ready for our third quarter to get started. North Carolina State and West Virginia tied at 21. Makes you wonder why these teams haven't played more than once in the last 40 years. This has been fun. With my partner, Ben Lieber, I am Eric Collins. The college football world wondering where the offense would come from West Virginia today. Well, they figured out different ways.
Yeah, they figured out different ways. They've gotten creative with a couple little shovel passes to the receivers. The running game is hitting. That was the big storyline coming into this game. 1.1 yards per rush coming into this game. They're over 7 yards per rush right now. And I think you have to be happy with the way the ball carriers are running the football and the way they're blocking as well. Also a big issue, providing enough time in the passing game. It's been a lot of balance, though, for North Carolina State as we took a look at the first half stats. You see the 118 for North Carolina State and the 152 in the passing game. Controlling the time of possession, picking up first downs, and some of those drives, though, have been extended because West Virginia defensively been committing some penalties and extending those drives. So they need to clean it up defensively for West Virginia, but you got to like both sides of the ball. For both teams, they're moving the ball pretty well.
Those first half stats brought to us by Dave and Buster's. Neither side with a turnover. That's a story in and of itself. Turnovers so critical in college football. Who will be the first team to blink? All right, West Virginia won the opening toss. They deferred the option to the second half. Now they want it. They'll start on offense. Low, spinning kick. Goes into the end zone. And Sam James is going to bring it out. James in trouble. He gets it to the 5 somehow. I think he thought he touched it, and he would know better than anyone. But the ball is going to be at the 5. So 95 yards to glory for West Virginia.
Yeah, obviously just a little bit of an error there. You got to understand the timing of that play, and especially there. Just don't give up too much ground. I know he's trying to make something out of nothing, but a terrible start for Neil Brown and this West Virginia offense here in the second half.
Can't blame Sam James too much. He was dynamic receiving in the first half. 6 catches, a career high 114 yards. Reverse handoff now to James, trying to atone. Picks up 6, maybe 7 yards on first down. It'll bring up second down and short. Let's break down Austin Kendall. Ben, what did you see from the junior in the first half?
Well, a bunch of pretty easy throws. I thought they did a good job with the play-action pass game, some of the RPO stuff. They're getting to the edges in the run game, but then also using complementary action in the pass game to kind of open up some of those slants on the inside. He's played pretty clean so far.
And a pass is bobbled and incomplete. Looking for Sean Ryan. Ryan thought he brought it in time, but he's ruled out of bounds.
That was a terrific effort. The ball's thrown a little bit too far outside. Gets one hand on it, does corral it, but not enough to control the ball and keep 1 foot in.
I think he may have secured it and still gotten a foot down. Every play in college football is reviewed, some longer than others. This will be looked at because this is important. This is a first down. You don't have to run to third down. You can have the first down right now and breathe a little easier. What do you think, Ben?
Well, you see the bobble. It's the right foot sticking onto the ground. That's pretty clear. I think that's enough evidence there. And yeah, I think there for a second he showed that he had control. There's no bobble after the fact. After that first little tip with his own hand, he does secure it sort of on its ends with both of his hands, and he has that right foot down. That's a good challenge. I thought in real time it looked like, momentum kind of took him out. He didn't have control of the football. But you slow that thing down, and it looks like he does sort of corral that thing and keep his right foot in. That would have been a sick catch right there if he just would have held on to it. But see the right foot, you see the control, no bobble.
Yeah, this is going to be the difference between either first down or a third down and 3. While we have a moment, let's check in with our Fox rules analyst, Mike Pereira. Mike, what do you see?
Well, I see the same as Ben. I mean, it's a heck of a catch to me. He gets the bobble, but then when he does get control, you always have to look at that back foot, that right foot. It's still on the ground. So to me, that is enough to make it a catch.
The ruling on the field will be reversed. It was a catch. First down, 10, the 16-yard line. Ball be placed to the left hash mark.
All right, we're all in agreement. Remember, it was West Virginia that was upset in the first half. They lost a player. Josh Norwood was kicked out of the game for targeting. They almost had Keith Washington, another defensive back, kicked out of the game for targeting, but that was waived off.
Yeah, they came out of the gate defensively, just playing aggressive and physical. They were challenged by the coaching staff all week long to do that, both offense and defense, playing really physical downhill football.
Inside handoff, trying to make something happen. This is James, and a flag comes down. A whole bunch of them right along that sideline.
We're going to get Jarius Moorhead for a late hit out of bounds, and it wasn't just a little bit of a late hit. It was with authority as well. We heard the crack of the pads picked up by the microphones. That wasn't just a soft hit out of bounds. Again, West Virginia trying to attack on the perimeter with these wide receiver shovels. There he's out of bounds.
After the play, personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 31 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Then they could have got him, I think, for a little bit of a high contact hit. It looked like his body position. He was trying to duck his head out of the way, but you also have to, it's not just lowering your head to get it out of the way or turning your head. You got to bend your knees, bend your hips, get those down. So he's trying.
Yeah, you heard some boos from the fans. They were thinking, where's the targeting that we received back in the first half?
And I think they'd have an argument.
And it's been an up-and-down day receiving the football for some of these receivers for the Mountaineers. That was a catchable ball by Bryce Wheaton. Would have been a short gain, but a drop nonetheless.
No, it would have been a short game, but the thing that I've liked about Austin Kendall throughout the game is, as you see right there, Sam James going under the tent from that last hit to the head and neck area. No idea what he's going to get looked at for, but Austin Kendall's been on time. If the ball is coming out right when the receivers are making the breaks and making it really tough on the defenders to make plays.
Blitz is on. It's picked up beautifully. Pass is complete out to the 40-yard line. It'll bring up third down. Trying to get the football in space to Ollie Jennings. And now it's third down and 5.
And Ollie Jennings is one of these players, another freshman come in, trying to find some playmakers on the outside. Tevin Bush is out. Receiver is suspended for this game, so Ollie Jennings get an opportunity to play.
McCoy in the backfield. Quick hitter. Pass is complete. First down and then some. Sean Ryan.
And Sean Ryan got him with the option route on the outside. It was one-on-one coverage. He fakes to the inside as if he's going to run a slant, which they've been doing all game long, so I don't fault the defender for thinking a slant was coming there. Then he sticks his left foot in the ground, reverse pivots back to the outside, and then Kendall delivers the football. So great play design and great deception by the offense to change up the routes.
On 3rd and 5, they pick up 21.
A double move call on the outside. They asked him to run a skinny post up top, get up the field, and cut it to the inside of the field. And then he sticks his left foot in the ground and runs to the sideline, and he gets the protection that he needs, and the ball's delivered perfectly.
Inside the red zone again. 8th play of the drive for West Virginia. McCoy. Maybe a yard. Laurel Murchison with the tackle.
Let's go back to the previous play that got him down the field. There's the in cut and gets the corner on his heels. That play is set up because of the tempo at which he ran it. He made it seem like, hey, I'm just going to kind of get to my spot and make a hard cut to the inside and really accelerate, but then he sticks his foot in the ground and goes outside.
Incomplete. Looking for Sean Ryan, who got whacked.
And that one is on Austin Kendall. You got a deep cover 2 safety sitting right on the hash mark, a few feet into the end zone. He wasn't moving off his mark. You're going to throw that slant. Your receiver, you know that you got a corner on your hip. You've got a safety coming down to break on the football. Austin Kendall's got to be more careful, not only just getting that ball picked off, but getting his wide receiver lit up.
Mountaineers don't want to settle for a field goal. Third down. McCoy. Nope. Tayshaun Smith, the tackle. And that'll bring on possibly the field goal unit. And here they come. Evan Staley will try and give West Virginia a 3-point lead.
A real nice job by Tayshaun Smith out on the corner. He has to make a clean tackle at that point in time. Can't give up any ground. He knew that he had help coming on the inside, but he also knew that he had the sideline as his helper. Able to stop them there on third down, make West Virginia attempt this fourth down field goal.
The holder is the punter, Josh Groden. Staley from 23. No doubt about it. West Virginia back on top. So West Virginia leads by 3, 24-21 our score in Morgantown. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Those are full push-ups, too.
That's legit.
That's a legit push-up.
Oh, yeah. I got to get the nose on the ground.
Yeah, but, you know, I've seen a lot of mascots. You know, most of them have the big mascot helmet on, the head on.
Sure.
And so they can't do a full push-up. It's like kind of quarter push-ups. He's at least doing a full push-up.
That's right. 24 of them, the Heat. 24-21 is our score. Homestanding Mountaineers trying to get back in the win column after losing a week ago against Missouri. First time we've seen Matt McKay and the NC State offense here in the second half. We've already talked about what we saw out of Austin Kendall. What did we see out of Matthew McKay in the first 30 minutes?
You know, a lot of the same things that we've seen out of him, you know, the first two games. You know, he's making, you know, smart throws. He's not trying to really press the field too much. I don't think that he's done a ton of breaking down the defense and going through like 1, 2, 3, 4 progression. It's just kind of like 1 or 2 when he gets the ball out.
Designed rollout, had multiple options, chose Emeka Emezi, and the pass is wide of the mark.
The one thing I did like that they're doing with McKay, though, in the first half was they are using his legs a little bit more designed quarterback run game, get that extra blocker out in front. They didn't show too much of that in the first 2 games. They know that he's a pretty athletic guy, but they want him to throw the ball a little bit more. So now they're using kind of a full complement of his talents.
Uh-oh. Snafu in the backfield. McKay just has to jump on it. NC State has not committed a turnover on the year, but that was close to one.
Yeah, that was really close. I mean, it's a little bit of a inaccurate snap, but certainly not something that the quarterback can't handle. Not every snap's going to be right at your chest. You got to make the adjustment, but it looks like he just took his eyes off of it, was already going to the read up to the left side, and got to control that ball first. And here we are, 3rd and 17, first possession of the second half.
4 receivers in the game. Flag is down. Tabari Hines, the intended receiver. The pass is tipped and falls to the ground, but there is a flag. And as preliminary signals, it's going to be against West Virginia.
Penalty is 5 yards. 3rd down.
Oh, that's a killer. Second time that Dante Stills has been flagged for a penalty.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for. I mean, they have a high ceiling for Dante Stills. He's one of their better guys up front, but already 2 pre-snap penalties. Those are just disciplined, focused penalties and not something that you want out of one of your better defenders.
Still 3rd and 12, so still a bunch to get for NC State. Plenty of time. And a poor pass. Never really had a chance. He was looking for Thayer Thomas, but the pass broke it up. Giovanni Stewart on the deep drop, able to knock the pass away.
Yeah, and that's just one part of McKay's game that just hasn't developed yet. He's missed on a few deep throws in the first 2 games, a little bit inaccurate, and really that's the first time all game that they've really tried to press the ball down the field, and they had to because of down and distance. And you see just not a lot of zip on the ball. Defender's able to kind of turn around, and he's at least knocked the ball down with his hands.
Trenton Gill, another punt. Sinkfield, the fair catch at the 32. So West Virginia not only lead, but also possession of the ball when we come back. NC State down by 3 against West Virginia. The guy in the black hat is Tony Gibson, co-defensive coordinator at NC State, and this is an emotional afternoon for him. He is so closely connected with not only the state of West Virginia, but also this Mountaineer program. Last year, he was the defensive coordinator. In total, he spent 16 years on staff here at West Virginia. Born and raised in the Mountain State, played collegiately at Glenville State. This is a place where he is called home forever, and will always call home, but now he's coaching against these Mountaineers.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and he was talking about just the calls. We're going to have a pass interference here on NC State, but the calls start flooding in from the reporters last Saturday night. He's like, I couldn't even enjoy our win, and I was getting...
Defense, number 8. The penalty is 15 yards. Previous spot, first down.
Tayshawn Smith called for the defensive pass interference.
And certainly Tony Gibson's not going to be happy with that. But, he was just saying, like, I'm excited to come back, but, it's kind of distracting at the same time because everybody wants to talk to me about it. He's like, I just want to get the game started, see some of my players, and just kind of move on.
Originally came to West Virginia to coach Rich Rodriguez's staff. First down, throw for Kendall. Ollie Jennings. True freshman getting playing time, and he's got a first down. 14 yards for Jennings.
First down, West Virginia.
Last time West Virginia had the football, 11-play drive resulting in a field goal.
They talked about it all week, too. Head coach Neil Brown saying we got to win our one-on-one matchups, not just on the inside, but across the board. If you're in a man-to-man situation, win that matchup. If you've got a guy to block, win that matchup. And so far on the outside, these receivers are winning those matchups.
Kendall again wants a bunch, throws it up for grabs, and it is knocked down. Let's send you back to L.A. for a Dave & Buster's game break. That would be a wonderful win. Big 12 already has a good road win against a Power 5 team. Kansas. BC yesterday. Kendall. Pass knocked out at the line of scrimmage. So 2 consecutive passes knocked down, one by a DB, this one by a lineman, and it's 3rd down and 10.
Austin Kendall's going to have to do a little bit better job of recognizing and diagnosing where these safeties are. They tried to double move a couple plays ago that got broken up. Probably had a good chance of getting intercepted because there's a safety lurking over the top. He had a slant pass on the last possession down by the goal line with the safety over the top. Getting his wide receiver hit. In that particular play again, an in-cutting route with the safety over the top that could have been disastrous.
If they can get something on 3rd down, could be 4-down territory. Incomplete again. This time looking for Simmons. That's 3 straight incomplete passes, and a once promising drive fizzles.
Well, that was all Tanner Ingle, number 10. The safety for North Carolina State comes off his coverage and is right there to make a play on the ball and at least hit his arms to make sure that there's no double catch there. Talked about his presence, his physicality. The guy's just a ball player. Even when it's not his responsibility, he's going to go over and make a play.
Roden is able to knock 2 balls inside the 10 in the first half. Trying to do it for a 3rd time, and he gets the job done. Thomas got hit. He was just trying to make a fair catch, and he was bumped. And that is going to move the ball away from the shadow of the goal line for NC State.
Yeah, Josh Chandler's got to do a better job.
Number 35 of the kicking team. Penalty is 15 yards. First down.
So instead of the ball at the 5, it's going to be all the way out to the 20. Big break for NC State. Can they capitalize? We'll see when we come back. College hoops is just around the corner, and FS1 has a big one in store for you this December. The Cleveland Classic will pit Ohio State against West Virginia. Big 10 against Big 12, Sunday, December 29th, exclusively on FS1. Tickets are now on sale at RocketMortgageFieldhouse.com. Bob Huggins, longtime coach at West Virginia. His younger brother, Larry Huggins, played for Ohio State back in the day. Back with Clark Kellogg. Donovan Knight carries it right up the gut. Good gain on first down. A pickup of 7 for the true freshman from Bailey, North Carolina.
He's having a problem with his shoe as well. He ran right out of his shoe.
Happened to him in the first quarter as well. Second possession of the second half for NC State. Again, Knight close to the first down marker.
Boy, he took a shot right to the back of the head.
A little slow to get up, but I like what they're doing right now. It is 3rd and 1, but they're just attacking downhill with their most physical runner.
As always, out of the gun, even on 3rd down and inches. McKay got stoned. Oh, on 3rd and half the yard. The play call decision was to pass it, and they don't get anything. They lose a couple of yards. Reese Donahue and friends with the tackle. And it's going to be a 3 and out for NC State.
We say all the time, Russian coverage has to work together, and Donahue is there to make the tackle, but it's all set up because Keith Washington, 28, the corner out on the edge. In a zone coverage, he gets right underneath the slant route that they're looking for. And because of that color, that flash, he has to pull the ball down. There was no other option.
Oh, my! A block punt, and West Virginia's got the football. Absolutely destroying that punt. It's Logan Timmons, the fullback. Logan Timmons with the play of the day on special teams for West Virginia, and that'll tilt the field.
Well, he comes in virtually unblocked. He had to slow down. Unbelievable miscalculation. They don't get him in the count, and he's got to stop and just. He could have taken that off of his foot.
So first down from the 12 for West Virginia. Again, they get it to Sam James, and James can't catch the football.
That was another high throw from Austin Kendall. There's been a few times in the first half where he's a little errant, overthrowing the ball, too much zip. That particular time, I know that he's juiced up. The whole sideline is juiced up, ready to go. They had something. They had the blockers out there. But he's got to just calm down and throw that ball more accurately to his playmaking wide receiver.
Second down. The man who just blocked the punt, Logan Timmons, kicks into the game on offense. He's the fullback in this formation. McCoy down to the 5. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short. Louis Asus saved a touchdown.
They're going to play with tempo and get right up to the line again.
McCoy, touchdown, Mountaineers!
And what do you do with successful plays? You come right back, use tempo, and run the same thing. I want you guys to watch number 1, TJ Simmons on the outside, a wide receiver right there.
getting the key block. That's a much bigger man that he was blocking. He puts his body on him, puts his hips into it, clears the path for the touchdown.
The tide has turned for West Virginia. Mountaineers lead by 10. It all started on special teams. Logan Timmons, how do you do?
It's the block punt. It's 2 runs on the left side for West Virginia. They capitalize off a special teams blunder.
Largest lead of the game for the West Virginia Mountaineers. 31-21 over the NC State Wolfpack. Still a ton of time. 6:24 remaining third quarter. Kennedy McCoy, senior tailback from Lexington, North Carolina, doing some work against the NC State Wolfpack.
Anybody else famous from Lexington, North Carolina? Don't test your mind here.
You got
You're
me on
so
that.
good with that.
I know. I'm going to get kicked out of the Tar Heel State. I can't think of anyone else from Lexington, North Carolina right now. I
put you on the spot. Put you on the spot.
Kennedy McCoy's pretty darn good from Lexington, North Carolina. We'll stick with him. Spinning kickoff. And a touchback. Pretty good last couple of minutes for West Virginia.
Well, there was just a miscount on the blocking scheme. Logan Timmons comes in there and basically takes it off the punter's foot. That's how they get down there, the change of possession. And then 2 back-to-back, the same running plays. TJ Simmons, the wide receiver, on the outside with the block, and Kennedy McCoy takes it in to put West Virginia up by 10 in the third quarter.
Personal foul. Let's say we're up to number 24. Kicking team. 15 yards. First down.
You don't see that very often. On a touchback to get a 15-yard penalty. How do you justify that one? Hakeem Bailey is called for that, one of the starting corners. And Neil Brown was like, oh my goodness, we finally have something going in our way, and we hand away 15 yards. 9th penalty for 75 yards for West Virginia. Matthew McKay and NC State, obviously with their largest deficit of this young season. They had just cruised through the first 2 games. NC State winning 34-6 over East Carolina, winning 41-0 over Western Carolina. But obviously a huge step up playing a Big 12 team on the road here this afternoon.
Well, and they knew they were well enough aware that West Virginia, especially here in their own stadium, was going to pose a big test for them. And they wanted to see some adversity, and right now they're getting that adversity.
McKay throws a dart. It's complete. That's the tight end, Angeline. Nice security blanket the junior from Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, has become.
Well, protection is fantastic. He does a good job. They're just waiting for Angeline to create a little bit of separation. That's all you need. Sometimes those big tight ends aren't going to create a lot of space, but because of their arm length and their wingspan, you can put that ball right out in front of them.
Last drive, NC State had a 3rd and 1. They went out of the gun and passed it. That was a disaster. This time, power football. And power football works like it has for the last 150 years. Zonovan, Bam, Knight, the first down.
And it was Dante Stills again that looked like he jumped a little early, but they timed it up perfectly, had a shot to get him in the backfield for a tackle for loss on 3rd and 1. Just misses the tackle, and Bam's able to run downhill and pick up a first down.
Knight had 100 yards last week against Western Carolina. It's been harder going this afternoon. Quick hitter, pass is caught. Tabari Hines, 2nd catch for the graduate student. Hines has the distinction of scoring a touchdown for 3 different Power 5 schools. Wake Forest, Oregon, and earlier this year, NC State.
We saw the pressure there again provided by Stills. Brought a linebacker blitz as well. He doesn't get home, but Stills does.
McKay threw out the wrong foot. And it's incomplete. So now another interesting play call as we're going to have 3rd down and 2. Maybe 4 down territory as they're inside the 40.
Brought in some bigger bodies, some freshness with the tight end position. Thayer Thomas comes in the game. He's aligned all the way out to the top of your screen on the left-hand side, past the numbers.
Uh-oh, I don't think so. West Virginia's line stout, and they stop Knight. 4th down. What do you do here, Ben Lieber?
I would imagine you'd have to go for it here. This is a tough, aggressive head coaching staff. I think that he believes in his guys. He believes going into this game that he had an advantage on the offensive line. It's been a nice, even battle back and forth with West Virginia's defensive front getting some penetration, but I think you put your confidence in your offensive line right here, and you plow ahead to pick up the 1st down.
NC State on the year, 1 for 3 in 4th down conversions. And a timeout called.
Timeout. North Carolina State. First charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
And I think based on what's happened throughout this game for West Virginia defensively, they've had a number of guys jump off sides. Get a little bit too antsy, a little too aggressive. I could see them coming back, lining up, telling the offensive line, okay, I'm going to hard count these guys real quick. We have a play that we're going to run, but let's hard count them, see if they jump off sides. Then wait for my code word that we're going to run the play live. But I would see if you can just get a cheap 1st down by getting these guys to be undisciplined up front.
Ben Lieber, as a former All-American linebacker, Kansas State, what were some of your keys as a linebacker when you know it's going to be power football, there's going to be a run, either a quarterback sneak or power?
Well, it's all about spacing for your guards and your center. If they're going to pack down, a lot of times you can get some reads on the spacing of those gaps. When they really pack it down and go shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot, you know something's coming down inside.
You got to imagine that Matthew McKay will be under center. Thayer Thomas, first man to break the huddle. He goes top of your screen. McKay under center, unbalanced line. They give it tonight. He's got it. First down and then some to the 25. Unusual front wall. X3 low saved a touchdown.
Well, and that's the problem sometimes, and the issues you run into. If you're going to pack everybody down, they go tight end, they go tackle over. So now all of a sudden, now the defensive front has to shift over one guy to the left. They were late to shift. They create a crease. There's nobody in the back end to make the tackle until the secondary gets there.
First down pass. McKay to the back of the end zone. Looking for Emezi.
Face pass intended for Emezi.
North Carolina State's offense has shown in the past 2 games to play tackle over. It was something that the defense was worried about. They had to talk about. They had to coach it up during the course of the week. They had not shown it up until this point. So they take a 4th and 1 situation to present it to the defense. And all of a sudden now, those guys have to communicate. They have to get out of that mindset of going downhill and submarining those guys. And now they have to shift over, and they catch them in a late shift.
Nice play of the drive. Knight swallowed up from behind. Hakeem Bailey comes from his quarterback slot, and he's the first man to wrap his arms around Knight.
Timeout. Helmet off. Offense.
And now Knight, because his helmet came off, wasn't knocked off, just came off, will have to be out for a play. 3rd down and 9. Ricky Person replaces Knight in the backfield. 4 receivers in the game. Here comes the rush. Incomplete behind Thayer Thomas. No flags.
They sent Thomas over in motion just to check to see if they were in man-to-man situation. They were not. They played a zone. He thought he was going to be able to sit down right there in the middle of the field, but a nice little zone pickup by the nickel just to present a body position there. Causes the errant throw, and now to settle for a field goal.
Field goal attempt. This from 41 yards. Christopher Dunn missed from 51 in the first half. So Dunn now 1 for 2 kicking field goals, and he makes it a one-possession game. 31-24 is our score. It's the dawn of a new era as WWE Friday Night SmackDown comes to Fox. The action's unleashed every Friday night, beginning October 4th, only on Fox. All right, Dave Doran's bunch would have liked a touchdown, but they're happy with the 3.
Well, you got to be happy with just the points. Of course, they'd love to put the ball in the end zone, but every possession now, as this clock is winding down, as this game is winding down, has become extra important that every possession at least ends in points somehow, some way. They grinded it out. You had to rely on Bam Knight to get you down there. You had to rely at times on your quarterback to get you down there. This is the adversity that he talked about. Had 2 easy wins. Now he wants to see if his offense and his defense can step up when they're behind.
Returnable. James starts from the 1. Can't get back out to the 20. So 2:07 remaining, third quarter. And West Virginia coming off a touchdown last time they touched it. Starts with 81 yards between themselves and the goal line. West Virginia historically awful running the football first 2 games of the year. Today, not great, but much better. Doable at least. Designed rollout, Kendall. And that pass is incomplete.
Yeah, a lot better, and I think it looks different because a lot of those shovel passes look like runs. I mean, essentially, I think from a defensive standpoint, you chalk it up as a run, and those plays have been very successful. So that doesn't account for a true rushing stat, but it is a ball behind the line of scrimmage that's being run, and usually around the left side of this offense. They figured we've got some youth, some new guys starting in the middle, so let's not try to run down the middle of this stout defense. Let's hit the perimeter, and they've been awfully successful.
Lenny Brown into the game in the backfield, and Brown's got the football. As per usual, another run around the end, and it's going to bring up third down. If you missed the story, first half of the game, we talked about the fact that both guards and the center are starting for the first time together this year. That's why we've seen so many runs on the edges, not so much between the tackles up the middle. Third down. Kendall throws late. It's picked. Coming the other way. Drake Thomas has the interception. NC State football. True freshman linebacker continues to impress. Drake Thomas with the pick.
Well, it was the pressure up the middle. We talk about the guys on the inside for West Virginia are new. Bryson Mays, and you've got James Gamitter up front. They give up the pressure, and then sometimes as a linebacker or defensive player, you play your spots. Just play your spot. Don't try to do too much. Good things can happen. You get an errant throw, and Drake Thomas is right where he needs to be to intercept that ball.
Costly turnover, first one of the game. Person slipped right when he got the handoff and loses the yard. Wow, it wasn't that long ago that NC State was really in trouble, down by 10. Now all of a sudden they're 22 yards away from tying this ball game up.
Well, every game really comes down to takeaways, turnover ratio. to go up by 10 off the block punt. And all of a sudden now, NC State with the intercept board in a hurry.
McKay. Pass batted away.
It seems like every one of these passes down the field for NC State are just a little bit too telegraphed. He's staring down the receivers. The ball's not coming out until after the receiver's making the break, making it much easier for the defenders playing top down of this defense to come down and make a play on the ball.
Wolfpack 4 for 11. Third down conversions. They need a bunch here. McKay dumps it off. This is Person, and he is wrapped up nowhere close to the line to gain. Giovanni Stewart's played a whale of a game. Senior linebacker has been special.
He really has, and they really got lucky in that particular play. They brought a middle linebacker blitz, and nobody counted for the running back as far as the screen goes in the pass game. He's wide open with no real threat, but they do a good job of converging in to make the tackle, beating the blockers out in front.
Christopher Dunn has been a done deal as of late. He's made 20 of his last 21. 37-yarder. So in the last 2 minutes, he's made a 41-yarder and a 37-yarder, and he draws NC State within 4. Well, we can only hope that it holds a candle to this one. This has been fun. ACC Big 12, 4-point game as we finish out our third quarter. 10 seconds remaining, third quarter. West Virginia will start after the touchback.
And not many people around here expected this. You know, as you're breaking down this game, and you and I were getting ready for this game, it seemed like based off of the last 2 games for each team that NC State was going to come in here and like, okay, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they're going to have a good chance to win and win pretty good. I even heard that from people, the West Virginia fans, just kind of walking around like they didn't feel a lot of confidence with their team, haven't seen a lot of bright spots, but Neil Brown has these guys ready to play, and they've been playing with a lot of energy from the very first snap, and they're making plays out there offense and defensively.
Pass is complete. That's Simmons. Takes a while to go down, but he goes down behind at the line of scrimmage. So the pass is complete, but it loses a yard. We've got 3 quarters in the books. When we come back, our fourth quarter. It's a 4-point game. West Virginia leads NC State. Start of our fourth quarter. 4-point game. West Virginia and North Carolina State. Let's take a look at the numbers through the first 45 minutes, and as you'd imagine, remarkably even.
Yeah, we talked about West Virginia offensively didn't show everybody a lot, especially in the last game, and now all of a sudden they found their rhythm. They figured out they can at least tack the left side in the running game, and you look at those stats, pretty darn even. The turnovers, big turning point you see for West Virginia on that block punt, and then the 3 points only for North Carolina State off of the Austin Kendall interception on the last possession.
Second down and 11 to begin our fourth quarter. West Virginia. Kennedy McCoy scoots across the 30. Maybe the sneak attack. NC State thinking of a pass. And the Mountaineers are able to rip off 7 yards.
And we talked earlier just about that rushing game. 1.1 yards per rush coming into the game, and they've been really, really good. I mean, in this game, it's much easier as an offensive coordinator if you're sitting there at 3rd and 3, or 2nd and 6, or 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard gain. So, offensive line, hats off to those guys. Those guys are stepping up.
Third down and 3. In the direction of McCoy, and a flag comes down. Brock Miller was shading Kennedy McCoy. Did he get too close?
That's an awfully tough call to me. I mean, just an initial look at this, it seems like an uncatchable ball. You'll see Austin Kendall take a shot here at the end of the play from a spying linebacker.
Pass interference, defense, number 12.
is Brock Miller. Junior linebacker. And because of the penalty, West Virginia stays on the field offensively.
They've tried a couple times, West Virginia, to get the running back out of the backfield on that wheel route where he starts in the backfield and goes up the sideline. Unsuccessful, at least you get a penalty out of it.
McCoy, patient through the line, crosses midfield, down to the 45.
And here they go again, playing with tempo. This time, they're not going to attack up on the outside, but on the inside, using a puller, an extra blocker, creating extra gaps on the left side. I like how they're switching up, doing a little self-scouting of themselves, understanding that, hey, we can run inside on these guys now as we've hit the perimeter so much in this game.
Best inside run of the game for West Virginia. McCoy. Able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Laurel Murchison, that big right paw, slows him down. Murchison, the senior. Coaching staff raving about him. Says he loves the game more than most. Kendall throws late over the middle, complete to James. And Sam James, another first down.
Another smart decision there by Austin Kendall. He was looking for Bryce Wheaton, number 83 on the outside. He was singled up, trying to look for another double move, but a safety came over the top, closed that window off, had enough time to come back and find his check down.
Ninth catch of the afternoon for Sam James. And the big fella, defensive lineman Laurel Murchison, we were talking about a moment ago, is now down on the field. We'll have more from Morgantown when we come back. West Virginia feeling pretty good, up by 4 on NC State, riding a career-high passing day for redshirt junior Austin Kendall. He's thrown for 261 yards, and this is 4th start as a college player. Won in Oklahoma last year, and now it's 3rd here at West Virginia. Laurel Murchison had to leave the game a moment ago for NC State. Didn't look like he was too banged up. They're playing it out one of their best right now. In his place, Aleem McNeil, number 29. Kendall can run. Oh, look at the Zuzu. Austin Kendall inside the 10 and pushed out of bounds. Didn't know he had it. Little wiggle for Austin Kendall.
Smart decision by him. He saw everybody was covered. He's done this a number of times where he sees his receivers covered. I don't need to force any throws down the field. I see a wide open green grass in the middle of the field. I'm going to take it and pick up a first down.
It was Jarius Moorhead who thought that Kendall was going left when he went right. Kendall throws a dart low to the end zone. Touchdown! West Virginia! Ollie Jennings! First career touchdown for Jennings.
I want you to see the ball placement, the accuracy, where he needed to put this ball. It's out in front. It's a little low, only where his receiver can get it. The receiver had to win just by a little bit. All you have to do is cross his face to run that slant. He does that and beats Chris Ingram. The ball's placed perfectly, and a nice catch for the freshman, Ollie Jennings.
NC State's been settling for field goals as of late. West Virginia getting a touchdown. Looking for their largest lead of the afternoon. There it is. An 11-point lead for the locals. Mountaineers 38. Wolfpack 27. And NC State picked themselves up off the mat. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. They've come out in droves here. Huge crowd. down near field. Morgantown, West Virginia. Ollie Jennings, true freshman. First touchdown catch, and it couldn't come at a better time.
Well, you see that stat at the bottom. Austin Kendall pulling the ball down when he saw nothing as far as his receivers being open. Has a big chunk run to get him down close to the end zone, and then he caps it off with a nice accurate throw to the freshman, Ollie Jennings.
Lassane takes a knee. All right, let's talk about what could happen here. It is an 11-point game right now, Ben Lieber. A two-possession lead for West Virginia.
Well, two-possession game, and you see 12-24 here in the end of the game, basically the fourth quarter. You may get only 3 more possessions if you're North Carolina State. So you have to make this possession right here count. You have to get some points on the board. You have to be aggressive. If you're faced with a fourth down, you may just have to go for it, even if you're not across the 50-yard line.
Wolfpack does not have a touchdown here in the second half. 2 field goals. That's it. Jordan Houston in the game in the backfield. Now McKay sends him out in the flat. Quick little pitch and catch. Catch made by Devin Carter. Decent gain on first down. It'll bring up second down and manageable.
You know, West Virginia's defense as well. Don't try to do too much. They've done a nice job up to this point. If NC State wants to get the ball over the top, let them try. They haven't been successful with the deep ball. Make sure that you make the sure tackles on the underneath throws.
Pass is knocked down at the line. Is that Jordan Jefferson? The true freshman from Navarre, Florida, making his first start. Coaching staff adores this guy, number 95.
Well, and that's just well coached because, like I said, it's been a lot of short, quick passing games. So if you know you're not going to get there as a pass rusher, then get your eyes on the quarterback. Once he gets his arm back and he's going to deliver that ball, get your hands up in the air to see if you can tip a pass.
Let's see if they find Emeka Emezi. Doesn't have a catch here in the second half. Knocked away! They were looking for Emezi, but no chance. Tyke Smith.
And again, West Virginia's defense is playing landmark defense in their pass drops. Tyke Smith didn't do anything, didn't give ground, didn't do anything as far as running to a receiver. He sat flat-footed watching the quarterback. Look, he barely moves. He barely moves in the middle of your screen. He understands that, hey, something's going to come to me. And then when I see that trigger of that quarterback making that throw, I'm going to stick my foot in the ground and make a play on the ball.
Those true freshman backup safeties have played a lot. Kerry Martin, Tyke Smith. Oh, it's a fake. It's a fake at NC State. They got the first down. Oh, like there was dead in the water until that fake. They've still got life. They've got the football at the 40 with a fresh set of downs.
Well, and that's where West Virginia's special teams have to be alert. Just like we talked about, possessions are going to be crucial and critical for North Carolina State. They're not going to get a lot more opportunities to get the ball, especially the way that West Virginia's offense has been running the football pretty well, controlling the clock, picking up first downs. Every possession is critical and crucial. That was a smart call by the special teams, but I'm surprised that West Virginia was not more prepared.
Peyton Wilson, there's some trust there. Just a redshirt freshman. And NC State's offense back on the field. And again, miscommunication. Nothing doing in the direction of Thayer Thomas.
Yeah, and that wasn't even close. That was thrown about 15 yards out of bounds. He wasn't getting a lot of pressure. It wasn't like he had to get rid of that ball immediately. He just didn't like what he saw, I guess, and had an errant throw.
Then going back to the comment just a moment ago, Josh Norwood was kicked out of the game for targeting in the first half, starting safety for West Virginia. West Virginia worried about their youth in the secondary. Young players have played well.
They had played really well. You know, not only offensively when they had to inject some guys in the guard, center guard position, but obviously defensively now with Josh Norwood being out, Tyke Smith, who's normally a cover safety, is a little bit different position than the free safety. He said do a little bit of a dual role as far as practice and preparation goes, and he comes in, he's making plays as well as a true freshman.
Kerry Martin, middle of your screen. 18-year-old safety, now a huge play. It's third down and long once again. McKay, designed quarterback run. Not going to get there. That's a long way to go. 3rd and 8 on the quarterback keeper.
And who was it again? Tyke Smith, 23. The safety comes up, recognizes the quarterback run game, makes a sure tackle. Watch this, puts his helmet right at his waist.
Oh, yeah.
A point of emphasis all week was attacking the hips and the belly button of the ball carriers.
So 4th down and 4, and the Wolfpack are going to go for it. Knocked down! West Virginia football! Giovanni Stewart! How about that? West Virginia's defense stepping up. They lead by 11.
Welcome back to Morgantown, and it was a 4th down stop for West Virginia defense. They bring a blitz on the left side, and watch Jeffrey Pooler get his hand up right there, but I want to point something out. Watch the jumping, leaping Giovanni Stewart. He's the defender that has to back up that blitz, and he read it perfectly, and if that ball wasn't tipped, he knew that he had a great chance at a 4th down interception.
Austin Kendall back in the game with that Mountaineer offense. Sam James tries the right side, and he's tackled. And a flag comes in. It was Calvin Hart making the stop. And it's a holding against West Virginia.
Offense number 1, 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
TJ Simmons. That's now 10 penalties for West Virginia.
And they've been asking those guys on the outside, the receivers, to block a lot, as we've seen a lot of perimeter run game stuff. Simmons partly responsible for one of the touchdown runs because of his blocking, his tenacity, his aggression, and just caught up with him on that particular play, getting a little too handsy pulling the jersey.
First down and 20. Sinkfield breaks the first tackle and makes something out of nothing. 8 of 4. 2nd down.
And this has got to be disheartening for North Carolina State's defense, and team-wise, you're just watching this clock get milked down. A much more conservative approach by West Virginia as they've played with tempo throughout the game, been really successful when they line up and kind of catch them off guard, but obviously with an 11-point lead, time is your friend, and you want to see that clock tick down and tick down.
NC State could probably withstand another field goal, but a touchdown here would be a death knell. Sinkfield keeps the legs moving. It'll be 3rd down and 12. 3rd down and 12 after a couple of runs. Again, Calvin Hart, a tackle.
And if I were NC State right now, that would not bring any pressure. I would force Austin Kendall to find some sort of window. Only rush 3, drop 8, and make them be really precise in their throws.
Still a whole bunch of time left on the game clock. The play clock's down to 15. And you can't imagine Mountaineers are in a hurry. And the keeper, Kendall. First man on him, Drake Thomas. And it'll bring up 4th down. And a decision time. Is it just a knee jerk that you punt the football away? Or possibly do you try and keep it and go for it?
I think with this down and distance, I think you have to punt this ball away. That's just way too far. If it was 4th and 2, 4th and 1, I would say, yeah, go ahead and be aggressive. Trust your defense. But they've been awfully good about getting this ball up in the air in the punt situations, killing it within the 10-yard line. Let's see if we can do it again.
It's been all West Virginia, for the most part, offensively here in the 2nd half. Now they need a play on special teams, and a flag comes in. It's delay of game.
play game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
That's by design. Obviously, the punter feeling that an extra 5 yards would probably help out.
And what you're going for here now for special teams purposes is just get that ball high in the air. All about hang time with this punt.
Not very high. Fair catch, though, at the 6-yard line. It works like a thing of beauty. It's going to be a long field in front of North Carolina State, down by 11, and 6:42 remaining in our game. Let's take a look at the road ahead for West Virginia, sponsored by Coors Light, made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. This is the last non-conference game. Big 12, I love it. They play 9 conference games, and it all starts next week out in Lawrence.
Yeah, out in Lawrence, we talked earlier about the huge win for Les Miles going into Boston College and getting a gigantic win. That was not just, they didn't squeak by. That was an authoritative win for Kansas. And then, like you were saying, Texas comes in here. This is a tough stretch if you're playing in the Big 12. No easy outs.
It's a pretty nice statement weekend for the Big 12 over the ACC. If West Virginia can get this win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people were high on what Boston College, with the way they looked. Kansas goes in there, gets a huge win, and, you know, West Virginia did not look very good in the SEC last week against Missouri. They're a little beat up, had to make some changes. Conversely, North Carolina State's looked awfully good in their first 2 games, and right now they've got the ACC on the ropes.
Big catch by Amezi. That brings up 3rd down and a yard. 3rd down and a yard. Wolfpack needs to stay on the field.
This might be a good time for just a quarterback run game, just to pick up a yard or 2 and move those chains.
Person. I don't know. NC State having a hard time playing power football. There are a lot of glitz and glamour, but when it comes down to rolling up your sleeves, it's not easy.
Well, and the impressive thing is, too, for if you're West Virginia, is how well your young guys are stepping up. We saw Jordan Jefferson involved in the play there. He's a freshman coming in a big spot.
Well, they give them the line to gain, so it's 1st down and 10, and a flag slows things.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 60. Friction, number 50. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Grant Gibson out of Charlotte's Mallard Creek called for that infraction. He double clutch it?
He must have double clutched it. Odd to see that happen, especially this late in the game. He must have been confused on the snap count itself.
Not much of anything. Emeka Amezi with the catch right at the original line of scrimmage. So they're taking the slow lane to glory.
When I talked about the energy that West Virginia's played with really from the first snap, and all the way now in the 4th quarter, this game's winding down, you still see defensive players stick their foot in the ground, getting after the ball, even if it's thrown downfield.
Another short completion to Amezi. At some point, you're going to try and get some yardage, right?
But yeah, you got to attempt to get downfield. This short dink and dunk has not been working. It's okay if you have the lead, and it's okay if you want to control the football, but that's not the way the game situation's played out. They've tried throwing the ball down the field a few times with no success, but you got to try it again.
Fourth down. Adversity for the first time all season for Matthew McKay and the NC State Wolfpack. They've got to go for it.
Well, how aggressive do you get now for West Virginia's defense? They brought a blitz. The last 4th down, it was successful. But right now, I think that you just don't bring the blitz and put more guys in coverage. They're showing blitz, though, right now. You see the linebackers mugged up.
Just a 3-man rush. Incomplete. No flags. West Virginia football.
And they go and attack one of the best corners for West
West Virginia and Hakeem Bailey, and in back-to-back possessions, West Virginia stands up on 4th down. They take over 38-27.
Good times are here again in Morgantown. After a loss last week out in Columbia, Missouri, the West Virginia Mountaineers enjoying some home cooking. They have played very well, both sides of the ball, and they have an 11-point lead that they just like to milk. 4:48 remaining in the 4th quarter. Just ball control, eat up some clock. Letty Brown inside the 10. More than good for the Mountaineers.
Oh, and you see that sweet feet. Watch this run. The way he can pick his feet up, he gets downhill, and man, it was so sweet how he just picked it up, made one guy miss. Hits the hole. Right there. Oh, that's nice. He saw that out of the corner of his eye, put the brakes on, took a little side step to the left, and picked up some more yardage.
Letty Brown hadn't played the first 2 weeks of the year. Welcome back, partner. Clock continues to move. Getting closer and closer to the 4-minute mark. Bobbled snap. And Brown is tackled at the 7-yard line.
This is where you tell your ball carriers, if you don't see anything, don't try to give too much extra effort. If you are, you have to get both hands on the ball, because guess what? Tony Gibson, Dave Huxtable, defensive coordinators from North Carolina State, you know what they're telling those guys? Go after that ball. Strip, rip, punch, do whatever you can to knock that ball out.
Mountaineers again in no hurry at all. They've outscored NC State 17-6 in the second half. Brown inside the 5 to the 3. 3rd and goal. And a timeout called by NC State.
On a state. Second charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
While we have a moment here in Morgantown, let's send you back to LA for a Dave and Buster's game break.
Back to Eric and Ben.
Thanks much. Yeah, we had a really good one here until just a couple of moments ago. NC State, their offense just couldn't do anything in the second half against West Virginia, while West Virginia continued to be their same self in the second half.
Yeah, they really did. They stuck with the game plan. They even changed things up a little bit. They kind of went some more inside runs and, try to caught them off guard. They did a good job with some of the play action reads and really playing with the safeties and the linebackers for North Carolina State, and something that we didn't expect. And I get that the point of this game is right now, but they are just mashing on the inside part of this defensive front, which really, when the game started, really had the advantage against an inexperienced and young offensive line for West Virginia.
Maybe 4-down territory for West Virginia. They're already up by 11. A field goal makes it 14. 3rd down carry. Touchdown! Letty Brown! How about that? When the game needed to be won, the running attack did it for West Virginia. That drive entirely on the ground.
Entirely on the ground, and it's about physicality. They were challenged all week long to be more physical, to move the point of attack, move the line of scrimmage. And when they needed to seal this game, they knew that it was going to become a 9-on-7 drill where they're just going to run the ball. North Carolina State knew it, and they went mano-a-mano, talk about winning one-on-ones, and they won the game with their physicality.
West Virginia came into this game 123rd in the country in scoring. 14 points per game. They're sitting on 44 right now. That was odd.
I'm trying to figure out what happened there.
So it's the touchdown, 6 points, but no extra point. It is 44-27. Let's take another look, Ben.
And he just takes a knee.
Okay, let's figure it out. If they did screw it up and they somehow North Carolina got the ball, went the other way and got 2, that would give them 29. Making a 15-point game.
Number 15 for West Virginia will wear number 81.
My only thinking
so you're
is,
really playing the math game at this point with that?
My only thinking is, yes, the only way that Neil Brown can kind of see a way of losing is if they miss the kick or it gets blocked or fumbled or whatever, they run the other way and get 2 the other way, and that would have made it a 44-29 game, 15.
I don't know. I think you're kind of overthinking the analytics there, aren't you?
That was blatantly clear that they weren't attempting an extra point.
I've never seen that before, playing that sort of math game with 3 minutes left to go in the game, and you've got this game virtually locked down.
Never let it be said that Neil Brown is not playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. He's thinking about things that we've never even conceived of. Time now for the Smokin' Player of the Game, sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef?
Well, it's got to be Sam James to me. They relied on him early and often to get involved with this offense. He took a couple of those little shovel passes and went around the corner and made some plays. Then in the passing game, going down the field, making plays as well, breaking some tackles, staying on his feet. They asked him to step up in this game, and he delivered in a big way.
First and 10 for NC State.
NC State. 3:04 remaining with 1 timeout. McKay over the middle finds Amezi. Incomplete. That will stop the clock. Well, this is the direction of Zonovan Bam Knight.
This is where you just get really conservative defensively. You see they're dropping 2 safeties deep. They're asking their corners to play off. Almost looks more like a cover 4 sort of concept, even though they don't play a lot of cover 4 in this defense anymore. But in this game situation, drop as many guys back as you can and just make the sure tackle underneath.
McKay stoned Dante Stills.
Well, he has made some mistakes, some mental errors in this game by going off sides. But when you want your best players to step up, they run a little stunt on the inside. That whole thing was set up by his brother, Darius Stills, to pick the guard in the center, and he loops around for an easy sack.
McKay gets it back and then some, finds Amezi. That is now double-digit catches for Emeka Amezi. He's got 10 grabs. But time, not the friend of NC State. We've gone under 2 minutes. And they don't need to be in that much of a hurry. 4th down. McKay trying to keep the game alive. Never gave it a chance. Pass too strong, looking for Amezi, and that'll do it. Katie bar the door. West Virginia, after getting spanked a week ago out in Missouri, comes back home and plays with some intensity and is going to be rewarded for it.
They answered the bell. They answered every challenge that the coaching staff gave to each one of these position groups. It wasn't just about the offensive line blocking better in the run game. It was about the guys on the outside, the tight ends, the wide receivers, the running backs, asking them to play with reckless abandon. Stop worrying about mistakes. Some nice moves right there, man.
Yeah, Reuben Jones making it happen. West Virginia just gonna run this one out. And they give it to Kennedy McCoy. Clock continues to move. And it looks as if NC State has waved the white flag, choosing not to use their timeout remaining.
Well, and like I was saying, offensively they answered the bell, and then defensively as well. There were times in the game last week against Missouri where they couldn't even understand what defense the guys were playing. They would call a defense, they'd go back and watch it on film. These guys are not even lined up right. They're not adjusting to the motions and shifts, and they weren't end up in the right spots. And they couldn't even grade out a handful of plays because they didn't even know what defense their guys were playing. And all of a sudden, within a week's practice, they get their guys right. They play with intensity. They're playing much better and more aggressively on the defensive front as well. So all in all three phases for West Virginia stepped up, and this is a big statement win for Neil Brown and his staff.
They'll have to snap it one more time, and they'll do it out of the victory formation. Well, we learned something today about West Virginia. Mountaineers, a tough loss last week, came back home against a good Power 5 opponent in NC State, and they played well on both ends sides of the ball.
Yeah, they really did. Hats off to them to not abandoning the run game, putting some trust and faith in their offensive line, going against a really good, stout defensive front for NC State. And those guys, those young guys, inexperienced guys, really rose up to the occasion and punched those guys in the mouth for all 4 quarters.
Next up for West Virginia, at Kansas in 7 days' time. Coming up after this short break, we will get you back to Mike Hill in our LA studios for more post-game coverage. For my partner, Ben Lieber, I'm Eric Collins saying goodbye, everyone, from Morgantown.